It was magnificent. I went into this dream flow state and woke up and I'm choking a guy and he tapped out and my arm's getting raised. Coming out of that was just euphoria. This absolutely is it. You'll be amazed at the results. The mental game of jujitsu it's like 80% or more mental. You get to do you. I'm just paying attention. If you're on the fence, the best thing I can say is just go and try it out. I'm Brandon Boyd, and I'm part owner in a couple businesses, as well as a coach for Rapid Rewire. I've always been a student in personal development tools, and so there's always been a search for what works and what can I do to fix myself and to work on myself. And so I've read the books and followed the gurus and um, did a lot of training around what does it take to, I don't know, behavior hack or whatever the words are. So I've always been very, very curious about this and always been kind of a seeker. So my experience in the training was pretty blow away. I expected to go into training and we're going to get, 3 days of lectures, and then, okay, go do it at home. And it wasn't like that at all. It was a couple hours of introduction, and then okay, partner up, we're going to start this. And like, wait a minute, I don't feel ready. I don't feel, what are you doing? It was like, am I, what? Like right now, we're going to do this right now. And we're going to do it with someone who's just as green as I am. Okay, let's do this. And so I was really appreciative of that with you and Wesley was, okay, enough talk. We're going, we're doing. It was like, get on the bike, take the training wheels off. We're going to leave one on, but you're going to ride the bike. And it was magnificent in what we got to experience many, many, many times during that weekend. It was a learn, do, learn, do, learn, do. And just very powerful and appreciative of how you guys facilitate that. I could sit and listen to you guys for hours about all the ins and outs of the brain and psychospiritual work, but it's like, no, go do it right now. So I appreciate that tremendously. When I recognized the value of this beginning of this year, I also had committed myself to participate in a jiu-jitsu tournament, a worldwide jiu-jitsu tournament that happened a couple weeks ago. And I felt very confident now having these tools that whatever came up mentally, physically for me, I could work through it. And I think that was a tremendous amount of confidence. There was a lot of fear that I was going through, a lot of question, do I even need to be doing this? And I knew that was actually the reason why I joined the competition, was to purge and heal and whatever the words are, these internal dialogues I was having. So a lot of the processing I did with other coaches as we were getting trained and certified was around my martial arts game and dealing with fear and dealing with not enoughness and excavating and healing stories that I'd been carrying around about not enough, not tough enough, not this enough, not that enough, too old, too slow, too whatever. So that was a lot of the work was around fear. And by the time I showed up to my competition and won my first match, there was nothing left. There was nothing. I was ready. I stepped onto that mat and I was ready. There was nothing left inside of me that was resisting this idea that I'm about to compete in a world competition. And it's like I went into this dream flow state and woke up and I'm choking a guy and he tapped out and my arm's getting raised. I'm like, what just happened? So yeah, he gave me a great compliment. He's like, wow, you choked me just like this other world famous black belt, which I'm not a black belt. But he's like, damn, you choked me with that. I'm like, yes, I did. Yes, I very much did. Thank you very much. But coming out of that was just euphoria. I'm like, what just happened in the last 5 minutes? And it was, I credit so much of it. The mental game of jujitsu it's like 80% or more mental. And I knew I had to work on that part of myself. My favorite part about being in the training is I really enjoy the level of comfortability with you and Wesley and the group. It's very much a community. It's very much It's not hyper formal. There's not this hard edge of student teacher. You guys are so helpful and such a valuable resource. And I love that, for months I got to know people I was working with, and we got to know each other. We get to know the stuff that we're dealing with, and be able to play and experiment with the different protocols that we learn. So it's been the community. You when you offer something like this, I think it attracts a certain type of person, people who are willing to go into their own shadows and do their work and love doing and helping other people to do that, and are enthusiastic about it. So that was a big plus for me. I'm still close with you and people, and we're always talking about this. My friend Christy, we're always like every other day, like, oh, you want to rewire something? Like, yeah, I don't know what to rewire. What do you want to rewire? But it's like we're so enthusiastic about it. We're like, well, what do you want to do? What do you want to rewire? I've been such an evangelist for this, and it's really the beautiful people that I get to interact with, and the nuances, and share about the breakthroughs. What I love the most about the Rapid Rewire tools is that I don't feel the pressure, obligation to I realize it doesn't rely on my knowledge. It doesn't rely on my education, PhDs, letters after my name, years of training, thousands of dollars in training. I'm in front of this person, and gee, I hope that all the stuff I learned is right for this person. And I love that, because I don't want that kind of responsibility. I think people want to heal themselves, and they have the full capacity to do that. I also love that there's so many simple, direct safeguards that I don't get to inject my experience into your experience. My opinions, my philosophy, my personal whatever bias there's no room for that in these processes. You get to do you. I'm just paying attention. I'm holding space for you. And that is a lovely, freeing kind of shift in thinking, where before I've trained in other different types of modalities, and then there's this idea of imposter syndrome, like, well, am I really a coach? Am I really someone who can help? I'm very careful to be sensitive to. I don't want to put myself on some kind of a pedestal or give myself a title that is really not warranted. And so what I love about this is I'm so confident in the tools. It takes all the burden off me, except to just simply pay very close attention and listen, and be felt when needed. How these tools have helped in my business, it's exciting. I realize that being in business, you've got to deal with. I think entrepreneurship and business ownership is just simply another personal development course. It's what it is. It's going to bring out the best and worst of you. It's going to call you higher. So I'm actually today working with one of my coaches, and what I was tasked to do was to show up with a 6-month goal and a financial goal. And so I have that. And I realize what I'm going to be doing in the next 6 months, just like I just did for my jiu-jitsu tournament, is I'm going to be dealing with my head trash and reservations around money and finances, and these embedded beliefs that we've inherited, society and growing up, and wherever we pick these things up. I'm going to be dealing with those over the next 6 months. So here's again another situation where I have a 6-month goal. I'm going to put myself in the deep end of the pool and use these tools specifically as these beliefs, emotions come up around money and wealth and how to create it, and systematically knock those out with other coaches or with myself. If you're curious about these tools, and maybe you're like me, where you follow the gurus and you watch the YouTube videos, and you bought into different things, and maybe they just weren't working for you, or maybe you're like, boy, there's something here. This covers 50% or 80% of what I'm looking for, but there's still something that isn't working with what I'm learning. If I'm getting this sense there's maybe something more, then this is something you want to look into, because that was me. that was what was going on with me, and always being a seeker and always being curious about these things, always looking for ways to be more of whatever, more productive, or whatever the words are, but also being true to yourself. I wasn't just looking for the typical brain hacks that everyone advertises. I call it entrepreneur porn or productivity porn. Is you see all these people out there and they're, if you got to 10x this and you got to grind and all these words, and it's like, okay, yeah, I get it, but I also don't want to lose my soul. So I'm looking for tools that embody not only a mental but also a psycho-emotional or even psycho-spiritual aspect to personal growth. And this absolutely is it. And so if you're on the fence, the best thing I can say is just go and try it out. I'm pretty much gonna guarantee you'll be sold if you put your whole heart into it and give it a shot. You'll be amazed at the results.